Hello, this is Dave Fearon. I'm coming back to you at the end of March 2020 with very sad news and a promise. It's been several weeks since Peter Vaill and I recorded a conversation because during all those weeks, Peter was hospitalized or in assisted care to fight a flu. And then when he went back to the hospital this time, he passed away several days ago. My last text with Peter was the day before he passed away, and he expressed his optimism and hope about coming back so that we could continue with our three-party interviews, conversations, and further thoughts about practice now that what he called permanent white water and spoke of several times throughout the other episodes you've listened to. I hope he would be profoundly moved by all these changes brought about by the pandemic and would be offering hopeful insights into how each of us can adapt our practices, whatever they may be, including a podcaster like I've become. And we're not going to get to hear Peter's wisdom going forward. An adjustment for me personally that feels awful. However, we are going to keep this going with the very same people that we were scheduled to include in interludes in April. They've all asked if they could continue to be part of this endeavor. And I'll be sure that as I participate, moderate, and make my own remarks, that I'll be channeling not only the spirit of Peter, but his primary intention for this work, which was to crack open our locked down ideas about the meaning of practice. And once open, look inside to see that it's each of us, each individual person, who is the inspiration for our practices, the workhorse for our practices, and particularly the primary learners and teachers, self-teachers for our practices. That's what'll be in my ear. Peter's voice, Peter's calm, but very intentional belief that we can do a great deal better teaching for practice, the teaching of as a practice and beyond, that any of you who are listening to this series will be recognizing the opportunity to change in this context in all these new systems of relationships that are emerging. And I want to be capturing some of that myself. So come back to our webpage, In Action Research, where we're going to start populating the writings, and a number of them will be about Peter Vaill or by Peter Vaill. And then I'll be making sure that I'm picking up comments from the comment section on our webpage and weaving them into future conversations. And I'm not likely to make these one-man conversation with myself. This is probably the first and hopefully the last time I have to post something like this. So I'm going to try to always have someone there as a respondent, as someone who can take turns thinking with me. And that's very likely in many instances to be my son, Dave Fearon, Jr. And you'll see his bio on our webpage. And he is the person who inspired the name In Action Research based on his dissertation at the University of California some years back. So this is going forward as long as we can feel that we're fulfilling Peter's vision. In conclusion, on this note that I'm posting here, the last telephone conversation that I had with Peter about early March, we were talking about getting prepared for what was coming in our podcast. And then he said, "Gee, Dave, it just occurred to me that we have formed a new practice. You and I." "Really?" I asked. He said, "Yeah, our practice is practice. Our practice is practice." I like that. So I'm going to keep our practice in the forefront of my thoughts and work, next to my family and other people about whom I care, for sure. But this will become a way of my continuing to grow with feedback from listeners. You're going to make sure that I'm a far better practitioner a year from now or 6 months from now of practice. And I've got a feeling Peter Vaill is smiling right now from a well-deserved place in heaven and saying, "That's it, Dave. Our practice is practice."